Fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now at 865-243-8255. That's 243-TALK. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
Welcome back. This is Patrick Riggins with the Patrick Riggins Show. Not a member of the news media. We were just discussing that before we came back from the thing. Tori and I are more of entertainment.
Entertainment media, not news media. I don't report news.
We entertain and inform. Well, by the time Sunday rolls around, just about all the news has been reported. So
if you're getting any news from me, you're very misinformed.
Or uninformed.
There, see?
But what they do get on this show is a view that you're not going to hear anywhere else. Basically, that's why people tune in, because you can listen to the right side tell you why you should do what they want you to do, and you can listen to the left side and they'll tell you why you should do what they want you to do, and then you can listen to this show and you can learn why you should just do it the American way, and that's what we advocate here. Anyway, real quick for this last segment, there's something kind of gnawing at me here, and we'll see how much, we probably won't have time to take calls, so we might have to hold people over till next week. Anyway, we have been beating this war drum over and over again for what seems like forever now. We had to go to Iraq. We had to go to Afghanistan. Now we need to go to Syria. Now we need to embargo Iran. Incidentally, one of the reasons in our Declaration of Independence that we wanted to break with England was because they were cutting off our trade with all parts of the world. Something, by the way, we're actively doing now with Iran, Cuba, and assorted other countries. What were these countries doing to threaten us? I guess that's the question. So far, according to the Defense Department, we have lost 4,400, almost 4,500 American lives in the Iraq War, with almost 32,000 wounded. We have had a little over 2,000 Americans killed in Afghanistan, with about 17,000 wounded. This doesn't even factor in the monetary costs, which have run into the trillions of dollars. Trillions! About 3 of them and counting, by the way. All for what? I'm getting so tired of our people being hurt and killed for the sake of another country that is not a threat to the United States. These soldiers aren't dying for liberty or freedom. They are dying because our leaders have made asinine decisions, and our military personnel are the ones paying for it. Now, if these countries were trying to invade or conquer the United States, then fighting for our country would be fine. Great, fantastic. But we have not been invaded. Someone say we were attacked on 9/11. Correct. And everyone who attacked us is dead. On July 20th, and we just talked about this, James Holmes shot up a theater in Colorado, killed 12 people, wounded 58. On August 5th, Wade Michael Page opened fire at a Sikh temple, killing 6 people and wounding 3. One of the questions I want you to consider is, and you can think about this week as you go throughout your week, did we kill these 2 guys? Did we kill their family and friends in retaliation after these horrific crimes? Did we go in and destroy their houses? No, of course not. If we did, we'd be no better than those 2 maniacs who murdered innocent people. Friedrich Nietzsche once stated, "Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster." So, if we don't kill criminals' family and friends, why is it okay to bomb another country, killing people who had nothing to do with the crime, just because they happen to be in the same country or even friends with a terrorist? Does not equality extend to everyone in the human race? Or is it just Americans? Is it not self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? The terrorists are fighting against us in these countries. Well, of course, a lot of people who are fighting against us because they see us as intruders. Just like if someone invaded our country, we would put our differences aside and fight them. What I want you to do is educate yourself. I would say probably close to 100% of the listeners of this show have internet access of some form or another. Look up Iran in Wikipedia and read about what we've been doing over there for all these years. For example, Operation Ajax. Or even find out what our government's doing. Also, you could Google Wikipedia and go in there and look up Operation Northwoods. That was a plot by our own government to commit acts of terrorism against U.S. citizens within our own country and blame it on Cuba. Also, we would have a reason to go to war with them. It was ultimately rejected by President Kennedy, but the fact that people in our government even came up with this sort of idea should worry you. It is no wonder countries around the globe are suspicious of us. What we have criticized Russia for doing, we have been doing all along as well. The argument is we are the good guys, so it's okay for us to meddle in other countries' affairs. We are doing it for the right reasons. Are we? Those countries' leaders oppress their people. But what is it that our government is doing? Take a look at the TSA and how they are ignoring the rights of our citizens, or the DEA, or the ATF, or even the FBI. When did it become okay for an agent of the federal government to write and execute their own search warrants without a judge's approval first?
Ooh, can we put IRS on there too?
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
All sorts of alphabetical things. You know, we used to laugh at this sort of thing when you heard about secret police and people disappearing in the middle of the night in the old USSR. You'd think it wouldn't happen here. And if you don't, just ask Brandon Raub, the former Marine who made some stupid remarks on his Facebook page. So what resulted in, he was, quote, detained, unquote, on August 16th by local and federal authorities based on what he had written. Again, what he had written. So what happened was he was initially taken to John Randolph Medical Center, and he was held over the weekend for a preliminary evaluation. Another judge on August 20th said, yeah, we need to detain him for an additional month. It was only a judge in Prince George County, Alan Sherritt, who ruled that this was an involuntary commitment order issued by a magistrate against Brandon, and it was invalid because it contained no allegation or basis to hold him. So here was someone who was not charged with any crime and being held against his will by the government of the United States. Will any local or federal official be held responsible for violating his rights? Personally, I wouldn't hold my breath on that happening. This is what happens when you're going into a totalitarian society. This is what happens. These are things we used to make fun of about in other countries and totalitarian regimes, that they had secret police and they'd abduct people. What I want you to do is just wake up and think about these things. Think about these things that you read about in the paper from a libertarian perspective and from an American rights perspective and freedoms perspective. Anyway, we're rolling up on the end of the show here. This show just flies by, another hour, and what I'd like to do is thank you again for listening this week. Thank Tori for hosting, or kind of co-hosting the show almost, and producing this show.
Hosting, yes. Yeah. Heck of a host.
Heck of a host, yeah. And I also want to thank, real quick, David Posey there. He had a good show there, and I really enjoyed following him up. He's a good guy, isn't he, Tori? And
yes, Dave's a really good guy.
Really good guy. If you'd like more information about our Facebook, or about us, you can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Patrick Riggins Show. You can also get us on Twitter at Patrick Riggins. And you can go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Patrick Riggins Show. There's all the old shows on there, and this show will be on there probably tonight or tomorrow after they cut it all down and take all the commercials out and everything. Join me again next Sunday afternoon, where once again we'll talk about freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution, and maybe 10 or 15 other things. This is Patrick Riggins. We'll see you next Sunday afternoon. Have a great week.
Join us again next week for a solid dose of truth on the Patrick Riggins Show, every Sunday from 4 to 5 p.m. Be there.